Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Cannon Chatter TV. As always, it's with me, Stephen, and my co-host on the other side of the channel, G from G Talks Arsenal. How are you tonight, G?
I'm good. I'm really, really good. Hopefully, everybody's good wherever you are in the world. And hopefully you're really confident and looking forward to tomorrow's match.
And happy St. Patrick's Day.
Definitely.
Especially for all the Irish Gooners watching. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And tomorrow, looking forward to the match. So we want to have a bit of a preview tonight of that. It shouldn't take too long because we are winning 3-1 and I'm pretty confident. But there's a couple of other things we can go through, and I have a bit of a fun game lined up for us. So without any further ado, I think we should roll the credit.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing. The first time it's happened.
So, good evening. St. Patrick's Day. Were you celebrating over there in any way? Out in the pubs and...
Me? Well, the pubs are not open.
Yeah, I know, man. I know.
But yeah, no, definitely. If the pubs were open, then I'm sure I would have had a cheeky pint of Guinness. But yeah, no such luck in London. Everything is still pretty much on lockdown until I think the April the 12th. So yeah, had a little cheeky drink at home, but that's it. What about you?
We're the same. Everything's on lockdown, so it's a very subdued St. Patrick's Day this year. I'm not going to lie, I've a couple of whiskies here. It would be rude of me not to. But yeah, it's a strange one. Obviously not being able to go out and get any green Guinness anywhere, which is unusual. It tastes rotten because it's just Guinness with food dye in it. But, it is what it is. We just have to get on, and then, you know what, let's hope this time next year life is back to normal and we can have a proper St. Paddy's Day. Potentially get you over. Maybe I get over to London. We'll celebrate it.
No, that would be great. That would be great. I've never been to Ireland, and it's funny. It's a funny story with regards. Obviously, not a massive drinker myself, but my first drink in terms of like what I started to drink as a teen was actually Irish Guinness. I always I wasn't a massive drinker in my younger days, but I always heard of the kind of health benefits to Irish Guinness. So that's what I actually really started on before I started getting onto the hard stuff. But yeah, would love to come to Ireland and join you someday.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes next year. Alex, really glad to see you guys again. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate that. And thanks for coming and watching. Chris, as always, great having you along with us. We'll come back to that later on. Okay, so let's kick things off. First thing I sort of want to talk about is, I don't know if you've seen this week, but just off the back, I was talking the other day about the new 424 stuff coming out, the collaboration. It has obviously been leaked this week. Next season's home kit. Have you seen this?
I've seen it. You know what it is? It's crazy. I think as an Arsenal fan, I just think I'm completely biased. Because it's one of those things where every single time, evening Ryan, every single time they bring out a home jersey, I just seem to love it, to be honest. I don't think it's the best in terms of like jerseys that we've had or favorite jerseys that, I've kind of owned or purchased over the years. But I kind of like the simplicity of it, But yeah, I think I'm completely biased, you know what I mean? But I like the kit, to be honest. What about yourself? Do you not like it much?
Yeah, I like it. I really like it. I like the bit of sort of the navy trim on it. I think it looks smart. What are you guys watching? Think, what's your opinions on it? I really like the Adidas stuff since we've started going back, or we went back to them now. This next season will obviously be the third season with them. But the kits, I think, have been really nice. Now, what was your opinion on Puma before that? Were you a fan of the Puma kits? Did you like them? Did you not like them?
You know what it is? Like I said, there's been very few kits that have come out that I've not liked. And I've always, tended to buy, the home jersey. That's always been the one that I've always gone for and I've always bought because, whether or not I liked, the kit sponsor and so forth, generally you can't go wrong with the home jersey because it sticks to, the Arsenal colours. But I have to admit, since the Adidas, I've actually been buying more than actually just the home jersey. Last couple of seasons, I bought 2 and not if not 3. So, looking at what Adidas are bringing out compared to some of our previous sponsors, I definitely say the Adidas shirts have been kind of a level up from what Puma were offering in terms of like style and so forth. So yeah, out of the 2, definitely prefer Adidas over Puma.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was the same. I was a big fan of the Puma stuff, but I think a lot of that came down to the fact that I really like Puma clothing and Puma trainers just in general. So I was always a big fan, and especially I really liked there was one, I think it was maybe the last season, the season before the end, where we had the like black and pink.
Yes.
I think it was a 3rd strip.
Yeah.
But I really liked that. I loved that kit. But yeah, really, I do. I really like that, and hopefully, it continues. I just hope that we don't have 16 training kits as well to go for.
Yeah,
because it does just gets a little bit too much, as we say.
Definitely.
So yeah, I just wanted to show you that and see if you'd seen it. Other things then, obviously before we go into the match, a couple of things you were saying earlier on about Arteta's press conference, and you wanted to touch quickly on Martinelli and what he was saying about him, because obviously there's been a lot of talk lately of, does he not rate Martinelli? Why is Martinelli not playing? Martinelli should get more minutes, and I'm one of those. I want to see Martinelli play, but I don't know why he's not. So do you want to speak about that for a minute?
Yeah, so I think a lot of Arsenal fans, we were obviously devastated when Martinelli got that injury because it felt as though, at the time he was really kind of making strides into the first team. He put in some really, memorable performances for the Arsenal first team, particularly that goal he scored at Chelsea. So I think a lot of us have been quite surprised in terms of the fact that, obviously we are aware that he's not completely match fit, but I think there have been opportunities where, as Arsenal fans, we would have felt that he could have got minutes, and he could have got an opportunity to actually play, particularly in some of the league games or some of the Europa League games and so forth. So I think there's been a lot of question marks from the fan base in terms of why he's not actually getting minutes. And I thought it was really interesting that, the press asked him about that, because quite clearly, there is an interest there. And from what he said, it was basically that, he's doing everything right. He is putting the effort in training. He's carrying himself, professional and so forth. So it seems to be what he kind of touched upon was that it seems to be that there's a lot of competition for places up front, which we've touched upon in shows. It seems as though all the front players are beginning to have good seasons. Saka's obviously had a good season. Aubameyang has not really, been there throughout the whole season, but generally the likes of Pepe, William, they're all kind of coming to form. So he kind of touched upon that being one of the reasons as to why Martinelli might not be getting some of the minutes or starts that we'd like. But also, I don't know if fellow Arsenal fans noticed, but there have been some recent videos that have been leaked to, Twitter in particular, where it shows Martinelli doing a lot of one-to-one training. And by the looks of it, he seems to be, being geared up for that centre-forward position. Just in terms of where he's positioned and what type of training he's actually doing in terms of where he is positioned centrally. So that's really interesting. So I think, as Arsenal fans, I think we just got to be patient. I think Arteta is very much aware of the fact that he is young. He is still quite raw. And obviously coming back from an injury like the one he suffered, it's more of a patience game and making sure, he's ready to kind of come into the team and have the impact that he would like. So I thought it was very interesting, the questioning, some of the quotes, what Arteta said. So definitely one to kind of watch this space.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen some of those videos you're talking about. I think Martinelli actually put a couple of them out on his own Instagram. And it does very much look like he's playing as a striker in them. and getting plenty of shooting practice. And it was interesting against Benfica that when we needed a goal, he brought Martinelli on, and he didn't. When Laka was sitting on the bench. So I mean, this idea that he doesn't trust him or doesn't value him, I don't buy into that at all.
Yeah.
He signed a new long-term contract under Arteta. If Arteta didn't rate him, why would he give him that long-term contract? So, yeah, okay, right. Thought we'd try something different tonight. Thought we'd try and play a wee game, and this is for the guys watching live as well to get involved. So, going to play a wee game of Guess Who. All right.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. You're going to test my knowledge here.
No, don't be. Listen, it's not like the old Guess Who where you're going to sit with a board and say, has he got a mustache? Has he got a hat? What we have is I have 3 players and I have 4 facts on each of the players. So you have to guess who the player is from the facts. Now, for those guys watching at home, or girls, ladies, if you're watching and you want to join in, please feel free to drop your guesses into the comments and see how quickly we can get some of these.
Cool.
You ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Right. Let me just...
Famous last words.
Yeah. So, our first player. Now, in honor of the fact it's St. Patrick's Day, all of these players are from the island of Ireland.
Oh, man.
So this is really going to test you. They're either from the north or the south of Ireland.
Oh,
okay.
Gosh. Okay. I can tell this is going to go badly already.
Be good fun. So remember, everybody, if you're watching live, please drop your guesses into the comments. If you're not watching live, please feel free to scream and shout at your monitors whenever you are watching. So, first player and the first fact, they were born in Dublin on the 13th of February, 1956.
What am I supposed to do with that clue? I have no idea. I have no idea.
Okay, then. Second clue. They played as an attacking midfielder for Arsenal for 7 years between 1973 and 1980.
You see, the thing is about this game is that I know players, but I'm not too sure on nationality. So I'm going to probably make myself look so stupid. I'm going to go with... Oh, man, this is hard. I'm going to go with... And the thing is, I'm not even sure if he's Irish at this point. Liam Brady.
You got it.
Yes.
You got it.
Oh,
great.
God.
Well done.
Thank God for that.
Well done to Mark and well done to Chris, who both got it in the chat as well.
Thank God for that.
The other 2 facts I had about him then were he left Arsenal and played for Juventus, Sampdoria, Inter Milan, Ascoli, and West Ham. Cool. And the 4th one was, despite being considered a club legend, he only ever won 1 trophy at the club, which was the 1979 FA Cup final. And there he is. My hair is kind of starting to look like that as well. Need to get these barbers open. Right. Number 2.
Yep.
Now, Mark, I expect you to get this one.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get that over me, I tell you.
And you'll understand why in a wee sec. So, the next player, he started his youth career at my hometown club of Bangor. Oh, my gosh. Before moving to Arsenal Academy for 1 year before going pro.
No, I need more. And somebody else got it.
No, Mark's guessed. No, you're both wrong. Okay. Clue number 2. He made 62 appearances over 9 seasons for Arsenal. No. I want the next one.
I want the next one.
His only goal for the club was the winner in the 1992-93 League Cup final.
So this has got to be a defender.
Don't look at the comments.
No, I can't even see them on my screen, to be honest. No, I'm gonna have to pass on this one.
Okay, well, there's one more clue, and you might get it from this. He broke his shoulder after that final when Tony Adams tried to lift them up and drop them.
Oh God. No, I haven't got it. No.
All right, so Mark and Chris again have both got it. It is Steve Morrow.
Man.
Mark, I'm disappointed you didn't get that first time, seeing you're from the same town as me. So, okay. But you've got 1 out of 2. 1 out of 2 so far. So
I know. It's going to be 1 out of 3. I can tell you that already.
Confidence. Confidence. It's a bit of fun. Okay. So, the last one. He was born in Stoke Newington, London, but he moved to Dublin at the age of 4.
No. Somebody got it?
No. Ryan, being 16 isn't helping me here. No, it's probably not, but you know what?
Thank you.
There are books available about Arsenal players.
Thank you. Thank you,
but don't worry, Ryan, make sure you stay tuned to this channel because we are planning on doing some shows about previous players and talking a bit about the history of the club, because it is something that Arsenal don't educate people on. They talk about players in the last couple of years, but they don't do enough education on the past greats. So stay with us. We will be doing some stuff over this.
That's my thank you for that, because that's going to be my argument as to why I got 2 out of the 3 wrong. So thank you, Stephen.
Right. Next clue. He made 722 appearances for Arsenal.
What?
And is, in fact, to this day, the club's record appearance holder.
Oh, no. Come on. Why are you doing this to me?
Well, if you don't know who our record appearance holder is, Chris, Niall Quinn, get off. Go away. Okay. His final appearance was in the 1993 FA Cup final.
Stephen, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
Where he wore this shirt.
No. Oh my gosh. Who could it be? Give me an additional clue. Give me like the first letter of the first name or something.
The last clue.
I have an idea.
Okay.
I have an
idea.
idea.
You get it from this. It's the last clue. He moved to Leeds after he finished his Arsenal career, and he played 10 games for them, and later went on to manage them.
It's got to be. I'm gonna make myself look like a prat if I get this wrong. Oh, man.
Come on, go for it.
I'm not even sure if he played for Arsenal. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it because if I get it wrong, if I get it wrong, I'm never going to live this down. So now I don't know. I don't know. Who is it? Right. Put me out of my misery. Anybody else got it right? Come on.
No, nobody else has got it right so far. Wow. I can't believe nobody knows who our record appearance holder is. And Chris comes in with the winner.
What is it? Who is it? You know what? I thought it was him. But I thought to myself, no. Oh gosh! All right.
How could we forget David O'Leary?
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that L. I was thinking, but yeah, I'll take that L. Good game though.
So,
good game.
You like that? That was a bit of fun.
I did like that.
So that was Guess Who.
I'm looking forward to putting the shoe on the other foot next time. Yeah.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. Yeah. All right.
It was the Leeds clue that gave me it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? There's so many things you could have said about them, and I was trying to make them. I thought they were quite easy, so I was trying to make the clues quite hard, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I didn't think they were that hard. But
you wait until it's my turn.
It was a bit of fun. I enjoyed that.
That was good.
Something different. So yeah, we'll do that again. A bit of Guess Who. Okay, so let's get on to the reason why we're here, which is talking about tomorrow night's game. We're going in. We are 3-1 up after the first leg last Thursday night. It was a good performance last Thursday. Heart and mouth the game whenever it was 1-1, but obviously we went on. We got the victory. We got it comfortably, and it puts us in a position where we're going in tomorrow night 3-1 up. Means they have to come and score 3 goals. There's no other option. They have to score 3. And apart from Man City, has anybody else scored 3 against us this season?
Yeah,
Villa scored 3. So there's been a couple of teams, but there's not very many teams have actually scored that many against us.
Defensively, we've been quite solid, even though we've not always got the result. But defensively, we kept the goals out.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm confident that it's. I don't want to say it's a walk in the park, but I'm confident that we will get through the game tomorrow night. A draw is fine. Not that I want the draw. I want us to win. I want us to build on the momentum of obviously last week. Then build. Beating Spuds in the North London derby on Sunday. Keep that momentum going. Get the win tomorrow night. Get the win against West Ham. All of a sudden things are looking a lot better with a few wins on the bounce. So with that said, do you want to run through your predicted 11?
Yeah.
And give us some reasons?
Yeah, no problem. So for me, this is my predicted 11. I say predicted, but it's more of who I would start on the night against Olympiacos in the second leg at home. So as Stephen said, given the fact that we are comfortably 3-1 up from the first leg, which was a really solid performance, to be fair, if it wasn't for, the odd dodgy play, we could have easily, won that game 3-4-5-0, to be honest. The one goal they actually scored, was due to an individual error or individual's error. So for me, I think this is the perfect opportunity, given the games that we've got coming up in terms of league with West Ham and Liverpool and so forth. I think this is the perfect opportunity to actually rotate the squad. I'm not a massive fan of rotating the team, and that's not because I don't believe in rotation. It's just I don't feel as though we do have the squad depth to do it effectively. To actually put out a weekend side and consistently win games. So I have gone with Matty Ryan in goal. I think he came in for the Burnley game, I believe it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody who's watching. But we lost the game, but he played really, really well. And no, it wasn't the Burnley game. I don't think it was the Burnley game. I can't remember what game it was, but I feel as though we dropped points in that match. However, he had quite an impressive debut. He played really well. He was really reliable. So I can't really see where he's actually going to get minutes in terms of the games that are coming up, especially as the season's counting down and all the games are almost like must-win games. So I feel as though the fact that we're 3-1 up in this tie, I think this would be the perfect opportunity to give him another run out. So I've gone with Matty Ryan in goal. Now I will start with left back. This time instead of starting with right back, because I think it will kind of explain my selection. Aston Villa, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. So yeah, I'm going to start with Cedric at left back. Now, the reason why I've gone with Cedric at left back is because I feel with the games coming up between now and the end of the season, Tierney is such a key player. He is going to be in that starting team as often as he possibly can if he's not injured. And one of the worst things I could think of is him actually being injured, against Olympiacos in a game where we're 3-1 up. They basically have to win 3-0 in our home ground to actually have a chance of qualifying. So I would start Cedric at left back just so that Tierney can get a much needed rest. I think he's played there. He's played right back. He's played left back. And although he's not as effective as Tierney in the left back position, I do think he's done a good job when he's actually played there, With the centre backs, I've gone all change. Recently, we've seen David Luiz and Gabriel form quite a solid partnership, particularly against in our last 2 games with regards to Olympiacos and the North London derby. But again, I feel as though if these 2 players are going to get games, moving forward, I think, again, this is a perfect opportunity to play Mari. He's been absolutely solid every single time he's come into the team. So for me, it's a bit of a no-brainer to kind of drop Gabriel at this point and give Mari a go, because really and truly, from what we've seen in terms of performance, there's no real reason why, Mari would have been dropped for Gabriel. There's an argument, some fans would be in the Gabriel camp, some fans would be in the Mari camp. So there's an argument, that either or, should be playing. So I'm going to pick Mari at the left centre-back position. I'm going to pick Holding. I believe Holding has had a good season, probably one of his best seasons to date. So I'm going to put him in at the right centre-back position in replace of David Luiz. Again, he's been out of the side. We don't really know the ins and outs of why he's been out the side. But again, I think against lesser opposition in a game where we are comfortably ahead, I think he could come in and do a job. So I'm going to pick him as the right centre-back. And as right-back, I'm going to pick Stephen's favourite player at Arsenal. He makes it very clear every show that we do. Bellerin is his guy. So I'm going to pick Bellerin. I was actually tempted to pick Chambers, believe it or not. But I've gone with Bellerin. I think, of the three, with Cedric moving out to the left, I think, out of him and Chambers, I dare say I feel more comfortable with Bellerin actually playing right back rather than Chambers. And it's a good question, Ryan, as in how come no Chambers? So for me, as poor, I don't want to feel like I'm picking on Bellerin, but I do think, overall in the season, he's had a poor season, to be honest. However, I do think he offers more as a wing back than Chambers. I don't think Chambers is naturally suited to that position in terms of going forward and coming back. And I do think that, with Olympiacos coming at us, I do think Bellerin will definitely be more of an effective option than Chambers. And obviously, that kind of makes sense given the fact that, I would have started Cedric there, but in resting Tierney with Cedric on the left, I'm going to go with Bellerin on the right. In midfield, this was a tricky one. I really kind of didn't know really who to pick. I feel as though Xhaka and Partey could probably do with rests. However, I don't feel comfortable enough to rest both. I'm not sure how Arsenal fans feel about that, but the reason why I've actually selected, Thomas Partey and not rested both of them is because I feel as though with Thomas Partey coming in, he was, our big money transfer on deadline day. I think we all imagined that he would have started every single game, once he put on the Arsenal jersey. And, for injuries and so forth, it's not quite happened. And every single time he started in the last couple of games, he has been withdrawn because I just don't think he, is fully there in terms of match fitness. So I just think in a game like this, it is, again, another opportunity for him to get some minutes, even if he doesn't actually play out the whole of the match. But again, I think going into West Ham and Liverpool, we need this geezer match fit. So I think another 45, 60, 70 minutes, maybe even if he plays out the full 90, I think would be good for him to get that under his belt. Now, the other midfield spot, it was obviously, bit of a toss-up between Ceballos and El Nene. Now, I know El Nene scored, an absolute screamer in the first leg. But to be fair, I think I've made it quite clear. I'm not the biggest fan of El Nene. I think a lot of the time his play is kind of counterproductive in terms of us as an offensive unit. And I think Ceballos, for me, is somebody who could really kind of come to life in this match. Olympiacos at some stage are going to have to go for it. And I feel as though we need a midfielder who can actually pick a pass. What I also like about Ceballos is that, he can mix it up. He can break up play. He can kind of get his hands dirty. And that's why I've kind of gone for him, because I feel as though he can really, mix it up in the midfield, break up the play, but also kind of pick a pass, if we're looking to kind of hit them on the counter and stuff. So for me, I've gone with Thomas and Ceballos in the midfield. Now, in the number 10 position, I'm assuming this is the kind of, formation that Arteta is going to go with. It was nice
seems to be pretty fixed on that.
Yeah, it was nice to see Smith Rowe back. And I do still feel, given the season and the impact that Smith Rowe has had since he's come into the team and the fact that he's our permanent player, I think, and don't get me wrong, I know the other day Arteta played Odegaard and Smith Rowe in the same lineup. I'm not too sure if that's going to happen all the time or how often that's going to happen, but I'm going to go with my kind of playmaker role being Odegaard. I think he's had two strong games. Well, one stronger than the other. He scored, back-to-back goals. And I think against Olympiacos, I think, he could easily get 3 and 3. And I'd be more inclined to start Smith Rowe at the weekend. So I've gone with Odegaard playing the number 10 playmaker role. Now, up front, this is where it gets interesting. I feel as though this is where, even Arteta himself, he kind of let on with the whole Martinelli quotes where, one of the main reasons why Martinelli hasn't been playing is that, players have kind of come to form. And we're kind of in a position where we're quite fortunate in that it's really hard to pick a front three. So I've gone with I've gone with Pepe on the right, simply because Saka, I cannot see playing this match. He's been kind of quiet in the last 2 games, and he was withdrawn against Tottenham in the North London derby, and I just cannot see Arteta risking him when we're 3-1 up in this tie. So I think Pepe will play or should play on the right hand side. I think he's in form. He put in a delicious ball to Laka to win that penalty in the North London derby. So I think him, getting 90 minutes under his belt would be good. And he's within a shout of getting a start in future games. I've gone with Willian on the left-hand side. Again, he's a player in form. He's, I know, Stephen said you don't look too much into assists and so forth, but I think he's experienced. I think this is going to be one of those nights where they may possibly get an early goal. I think we do need, experience on the pitch. Some people might say that doesn't really, amount to much, but I think it does on European nights like this. So I think having his experience, he knows his way around the Champions League, the Europa League, in his, kind of previous clubs. So I think having him on the pitch, he's in form. He's likely to get assists or a couple assists. I would pick, I'd put him on the left-hand side. And generally up front, Aubameyang, this is probably a game I would have rested him. However, given the situation in the last game where he didn't start for, being late, for the match, disciplinary issues, whatever it is, it's all been resolved and so forth, as far as we're told, I would actually start him because I think we need to keep him fresh. I can't see him playing the whole 90, but I definitely think, it would be worth starting him. Hopefully he can get a goal or two and then we can withdraw him either at halftime, or on about, the 60th mark. So yeah, that's my lineup. Whether you agree with it or not, ping in your comments. Let me know what you think. But yeah, what's your thoughts on that, Stephen?
Yeah, I mean, everything you say is entirely right. It was a tough one. I mean, we'll go on to my team in a wee sec. I know, when I was sitting going through, and I know you fired yours fairly early on this morning, and I didn't do mine until sort of later on this evening. All day it's kind of been in my head, what sort of team is he going to play? Is he going to go and give players who've not been getting much game time games? Because we are 3-1 up. And as I keep, sort of going back to, they have to come out and score 3 goals. And realistically, our squad, no matter what team we play, should be better than their squad.
Yeah.
They have a couple of dangerous players. But we should, on the whole, be able to beat them, with any lineup we put out. So it got me thinking, does he do that or does he play a strong lineup, bearing in mind that we're on a good run, after the last couple of games. Want to keep that momentum going, want to make sure that, we're going into the West Ham game confident and off the back of a win. And then there's 2 weeks gap between the West Ham game and the next game. So they have a break, albeit some of them be on international duty. But, they will have a bit of a break from the Premier League where they're playing literally, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday, whatever it is, that they have been like that for a while. This is the first time we've had an international break for quite some time. So I kind of, I'll show you the lineup I went with. And this is, again, it's kind of, when we're doing these, I try to think about who I think he'll pick more so than who I would pick. And then sometimes I'll go with who I would pick. So this is kind of a mix of who I think he'll pick and who I would pick, but it's more so who I think he's going to go for. So I know you went with Matty Ryan in goal, but as I've said before, Arteta's not a fan of changing the keeper, and I don't know that Leno necessarily needs a rest. Being a goalkeeper, they don't do anywhere near the same amount of work. And he hasn't had to face the same amount of shots as he used to, because the defence have got better. So I do think he'll stick with Leno. At right back, I have gone for my favourite player in the world, Hector Bellerin. I think he, the fact that we are 3-1 up, he can give Cedric the night off and have him ready for West Ham. Tierney at left back, purely because unless we play Cedric, there isn't really anybody else to cover there. And Tierney's that sort of player that he will play and play and play and play. If he gets injured, he'll be out for quite a while. But he can play and play and play. So, it's, I'm not necessarily sure you would class it as a risk playing him, so often, but he for me, when he's fit, he has to be in the team. He really does. Centre-back pairing, I've gone the same as you, Mari and Holding. Gabriel's done fantastic the last couple of games. He's really played himself back into form after, being out with COVID. And it's taken him a bit of time, and I think Arteta has brought him back the right way. I know there's a lot of people sort of said, oh, no, he should have been back in. But I think Arteta managed that situation really well. And he's brought him back now, and he's starting to play himself back into really good form. But Mari had been in really good form. So, we've mentioned the stat again, how he only lost one game of the 8 or 9 that he played, and it was against City. So he has been really good. Gone for Holding, just again, give David Luiz a bit of a rest. And only because of the fact that he's slightly older than a lot of the squad, albeit he's only 32 or 33. But, he does deserve maybe a wee bit of a rest after, again, playing some good games. Midfield, I have actually changed both. I have gone for Ceballos and El Neni. Partey looked all right on Sunday in the North London derby, but he wasn't as commanding as I thought he was going to be. He still looked a bit leggy and a bit unfit. So I think, he's had a few matches there. Maybe give him this one off, get him ready for West Ham at the weekend. And Ceballos needs to play some games. At the minute, is Ceballos going to be back here next season? I would doubt it. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen enough from him to warrant spending 20 to 30 million on him. I can't see it. But we need to give him a couple of games. We need to make the most of the fact that we're paying him for this season. And a game like this is the sort of game where he can come in and, he can play, he'll do a job and, get our money's worth out of it. The front four then, I thought about putting Pepe in because, like you, I think Saka. I'm not sure if Saka's injured because there was talk that he came off, he was feeling his hamstring at the weekend, but he seems to have come through it okay. So I don't know, to what extent he's fit enough to play. But I would rest him. I wouldn't take the risk with him. I think Pepe.
I think Arteta was saying. I think Arteta said in the press conference when they asked him about injury news that nobody is technically injured. There are a couple that are doubtful. So we can only assume Saka would be one of them, given that he was withdrawn from the last match.
Yeah, I would say realistically, I don't think you'll see Saka tomorrow. I don't think you'll see Saka against West Ham either. I don't think it's worth the risk. And I think he'll be held back. I don't know if England are actually playing in the next 2 weeks or not. But I think if they are, I don't think he'd be I don't think Arteta would let him go. I think, give him a good rest. Take this opportunity of an international break to give him a good rest. Pepe, I think Pepe will play on Saturday or Sunday against West Ham. So my kind of thought was give Willian the game and play Pepe against West Ham. Odegaard, like yourself, have gone for Odegaard in the centre of those three. He is the architect, and he's playing so well. He hasn't played any football really up until he came across to us on loan. So there's no reason again why he particularly needs a rest. He hadn't been playing for the first half of the season. Then Aubameyang, I think he'll want to get Aubameyang straight back into the team. And again, I toyed with, after seeing those videos of Martinelli, would Martinelli maybe get a start? But I think Laka, he deserves another game. So I would put Laka up front, and as I say, I think you'll want to bring Aubameyang straight back in. So I'd put Aubameyang out on the left. And that is my team. And that is the team that I think is going to win this game tomorrow night, probably 2-0 or 2-1.
Okay.
And that's my predicted scoreline. Just a quick question from Chris. Would you be shocked if left and central striker were Martinelli, Nketiah and Pepe on the right? I would be, yeah, because I think Nketiah is done. I would be surprised if we see Eddie again for Arsenal. Purely because I think, Laka is a better option. And, with a fully fit squad, Nketiah is probably one of the last that's going to get in the team, along with probably the likes of Callum Chambers and Reece Nelson. Those three to me are the ones that are probably going to get the least game time. So, yeah, I mean, if everybody stays fit, I would say Nketiah will struggle to get a game. And I would say he will be off in the summer. So, yeah, I would be surprised if Nketiah started. Martinelli, no, I wouldn't be surprised if he started. I don't think he will, but it wouldn't surprise me at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think he's, as you say, from all accounts, it looks like he's going to be tried at striker, and that's probably where I would play him. Again, he's got that sort of... He's been unlucky because he's a very similar player to Aubameyang. And much as Martinelli is the future, Aubameyang is the now. And when you're paying someone that sort of money and they're the club captain, you have to play them. You can't just have that sort of player on the bench. Martinelli's time will come. So I don't think Martinelli, I mean, you've seen pictures of him celebrating, and, he does not look an unhappy player.
Yeah.
He knows his time's coming. So, yeah, I mean, I would probably like to see Martinelli play, but I think Aubameyang will start.
Yeah, for me, with regards Chris's question, I would be quite surprised if I saw those three as the front three. I wouldn't be surprised if Pepe started because, I put him in to start. If Martinelli started, I'd actually be quite happy. I didn't put him in my starting lineup, but I would actually be quite happy because it would be good to see him. We haven't seen him, recently in games. For me, I have to be completely honest. I don't believe Nketiah is good enough for Arsenal. I think, there's not much else to his game in terms of other than, tap-ins. I haven't seen, enough to say, this player has a future at Arsenal. So for me, I'd be really surprised if he actually started the game. Last couple of squads, that Arteta's put out, he's not even been part of the squad. We've got a lot of forward players that are in form. You can just look at the two lineups, that we put out there, and you can see, we've got a lot of forward players that are in form. We've got midfielders, attacking midfielders that can actually play in forward positions. And I think given the form of the attacking players we've got, I think Nketiah, although he was starting games earlier in the season, he's definitely fallen down that pecking order. I completely agree with Stephen. I can see him being one of the forward players definitely sold in the summer. I just, he's part of the youth system. I think he gives everything when he's on the pitch, but I just don't think he's got enough quality about him to be starting in a game like this and for Arsenal long term.
Yeah. So what do you think is going to be the score tomorrow night?
I'm going to go for 3-0. Yeah, I'm going to go for 3-0. I think that, our defense, albeit, we don't make any silly errors, I cannot see, I really can't see them scoring, to be honest. I think if we have a solid game, I think we can actually, stifle whatever threat they have going forward. At no point in the first game would I say that I was really alarmed by what Olympiacos were doing as an offensive unit. It was more to do with, what we were doing to ourselves, why they had kind of chances. So I can definitely see, the centre backs I chose. If Holding and Murray does play, if Gabriel Luiz plays, or if it's a combination of the four, I think, at centre back, wing backs, goalie, I think we're good enough to keep them out for the 90 minutes. And I don't think they will come out the blocks really fast to begin with. I think they will actually take their time and just kind of see how the game pans out. Because at the end of the day, if they come out too quick and we get an early goal, it's curtains. So I can actually see it being kind of a measured start by Olympiacos. And then maybe, putting the pressure on in the last kind of keeping it tight and putting the pressure on in the last kind of 10, 15 minutes before the first half and then nicking a goal. I think they're really going to need to want to manage and control the game. But, if they come forward, the players, whether we field a strong side or weakened side, the players we have going forward, I think we're gonna get at least 3 goals tomorrow. So I'm going for 3-0, 6-1 win on aggregate.
Okay. Good. Just a couple of comments there. We'll come back to in a wee sec. Guys watching live, and as well, girls. Any questions, any last comments, fire them in now. We'll come back to them in a wee sec. I just want to say again, thank you to everybody who's tuned in and watched this live. If you're not watching it live and you're watching it back later on, thank you very much for watching. Make sure, if you haven't already, that you subscribe, turn on your notifications, and hit that like button. It all helps with the algorithms and make sure that our content gets out there to more people, and we can, get more people involved. As we've said before, we are planning on getting some of you guys on the shows going forward, probably after the international break now. We're going to work on a few things. We will be back probably Friday night again with a review of tomorrow night's match and a preview of the West Ham game. And then early next week, we will review the West Ham game, and then there's no game for a couple of weeks, but we do have a couple of things planned. So we're going to record our squad, our squad survey, sort of, or what we think should happen with the squad that we ran the polls on a couple of weeks ago. We're going to record that show and get that out in a couple of parts next week. And we have got something else lined up with another channel. We're going to do a bit of a cross-channel stream, which should be good fun. We'll do some quizzes and have a bit of fun on that one. And then obviously we'll see what's coming up then the following week. So thank you, everybody, as I say, for getting involved. Please make sure you keep contact with us, keep messaging us, fire any DMs, anything you just want to talk about. If you do want to get involved in the show, hit us up. You want to fire through the socials as you do, where
definitely.
They can get in contact with us and watch us.
Definitely, and I'm not going to forget Facebook this week, Stephen.
So yeah, the screen.
So just to kind of echo what Stephen says, massive thank you to everybody who's tuning in, watching the lives, catching up with the shows after. We massively appreciate it. So please do continue to support us. But you can actually follow us on all our socials. So our Facebook is Canning Chatter. Our Instagram is @Canning_chatter. Our Twitter account is @Canning Chatter, and you can also follow us on our individual Twitter account. So my Twitter account is @GTalksArsenal, and Stephen's Twitter account is @SB Canning Chatter. So yeah, get following, guys.
And we have also added a Twitch account, which I believe there is somebody watching us live on right now.
Excellent.
So thank you for that. I'm not really familiar with Twitch. I only set it up yesterday, and I will sort of have a look at it and learn how it all works over the coming days. You can also, as well, if you want, you can email us. I'm Stephen@cannonchatter.com, and G is Granville@cannonchatter.com. And make sure and tell other Arsenal fans about the channel. Get them along, get them involved. And as we say, make sure and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the matchdayshop.com, who are our sponsor. They, at the minute, have very graciously turned on a discount code for us. So if you are buying anything from them, they have some great memorabilia on there, some stuff like signed shirts, signed boots, and then just normal sort of stuff like scarves, hats, cups, mugs, all sorts of stuff. You can get a 10% discount by using the code AFC10, and you get 10% off your shop. And Dan will get that stuff out to you pretty quick. I have the red and white striped scarf there has come from there. I purchased that a wee while ago, and it is a lovely scarf and kept me warm during the winter. Okay, so very quickly, let's come back to the comments before we wrap things up. Ryan, Nketiah doesn't fit our system. We don't need a poacher. Yeah, absolutely right. We're not a poaching team. That's not the sort of football we play at the minute. And that is exactly right. Nketiah is a poacher. He's best inside the 6-yard box. Chris, Olympiacos might turn up in holiday mode and we beat 5 or 6-0. They just turn up to get the game done. Their domestic season is over. Yeah, I mean, I said that last week, that there was that possibility. I think they'll come and they'll have a go. They'll have a go at us, but I can't see them beating us. I just can't. Last season was an anomaly. When they got that, we didn't play well. We hurt ourselves, but we're 3-1 up. I can't see them getting 3 goals. Ryan, do you think Aziz should replace Elneny next season, or would you send him out on loan to get experience past the under-23s? Good question, G. What do you think?
Yeah, so Aziz is a good player. He's a really, really good prospect. He's kind of been in and around the first team in that, not so much starting, but, I know he's trained with the first team. If you actually follow Arsenal Twitter and the socials and stuff like that, he's getting rave reviews. And for what I've seen of him in terms of pre-season, he looks like a really decent player, a really decent prospect. I feel as though next season would be a good season to loan him. And that would be probably to a championship side. I can't really see in terms of our ambitions moving forward, and the fact that I feel as though midfield is probably the weakest area in terms of our first team. I'm not sure if next season would be the right time to kind of, try and transition him into being a first team player or on the bench and so forth. I can see a lot of movement in terms of that midfield next season with people like, Willock, Ceballos, Odegaard, Elneny. I can see a lot of movement in and out of the club. So I don't think it would be best for him to be in the first team or with a shout of the first team next season. If it was me, if the decision, it's not up to me, it's up to Arteta, I would actually loan him out next season, maybe to a championship side or maybe another Premier League side, maybe one of the newly promoted teams, because everything coming out of the under-23s is that, he's a phenomenal prospect, but at the moment he is just a prospect. That jump up from, the under-23s to the first team is huge. And given, our position in terms of like our league position, in terms of our ambitions moving forward as a big club, and the fact that I can see that midfield as being the weakest part of this current side, I think it's just probably a season too early for that.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree. I think, thanks for the question, Ryan. It's a great question. Aziz is a talent. He really is, from what I've seen of him. He's a phenomenal talent, and he will be a big star for us in the future. But yeah, I think just in terms, I've said before, I think that next season we really need to be pushing on, and it has to be top 4 next season, at a minimum. And then the following season, we have to mount a serious title challenge. Because if we don't do that, then the Arteta project isn't working. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think there will be big changes this summer. I think there has to be. I think the squad needs an overhaul. I mean, you guys get our opinions on that when we do the squad review. And we will be very open and honest about our opinions. And we'll read out obviously some of the stuff that you have sent in. But the squad needs an overhaul. It isn't good enough, and it's we can all be really excited and happy the fact that we won the North London Derby. we shouldn't have been going into that worrying about winning the North London Derby, because
100%.
we should be a better team. You know, we shouldn't be worrying, you know, with 10 games to go, are we in with a chance of even qualifying for Europe? You know, by this stage, we should have pretty much qualified.
Yep.
You know, and I seen a thing there the other day. Mathematically now we cannot win the league. Not that we were going to win it, but with 10 games to go, we mathematically can't win the league. And we should not be in that position. So, yes, things are going the right direction. Yes, you can see the changes. You can see a better team spirit. You can see the back office changes. You can see all that. But at the same time, there's still an awful lot of work to do. So, you know, Aziz coming in then as a first team player, no, I think next season's probably just a wee bit too early for him.
Agreed.
But thank you for that. So, yeah, listen, you know, that great show. I really enjoyed that. And once again, we've gone on a lot longer than we were sort of planning to, but we did have a bit of fun with the game in the middle there, if we could guess who. Thank you to everybody who's watched and commented. As I say, make sure and hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Share the channel with your friends. Make sure you get as many people subscribing as you can. And that's kind of it from me. G, have you any final words?
No, just, you know, I really enjoy these shows as always. It's a pleasure doing them with you, Stephen. And it's just really nice, you know, interacting with Arsenal fans on Twitter, you know, and on the socials. It's the reason why, you know, we actually, you know, started, you know, this whole Cannon Chatter and this whole platform and this YouTube channel. So just a massive thank you to everyone who's watching and everyone who actually tunes in and catches up with the show if they've not been able to watch it live. You know, continue to interact with us. You know, we're not always going to be doing review and preview shows. We do have, as Stephen mentioned, you know, our squad reviews, should he go, should he stay, content coming out, and that will probably be kind of around the kind of international break. So lots of, you know, great content coming your way. I am in conversations, you know, with regards like Twitter DMs, Facebook, and so forth with regards, you know, Arsenal fans that have expressed an interest. So it'll just be a case of me and Stephen, you know, it is on our agenda. It's on our to-do list. We're going to be, you know, kind of organizing calls, you know, between, you know, us, all of us together, kind of get to know you. And then hopefully within the next couple of weeks, you know, we can invite some of you on. So just a massive thank you for your support. You know, look forward to continued support and have a good evening. And let's hope, you know, come Friday, we can have a really great show reflecting on a really convincing win. So, yeah, good night from me, guys.
Excellent. Sorry, just one last wee thing. Someone asked the other night about where they could buy one of these Cannon Chatter hoodies
Yes,
that we have here. I have been looking into it a bit more, and you will notice that G, can you just stand up slightly? There we go. G is debuting one of our Cannon Chatter t-shirts.
rocking the t-shirt.
So we do hope to have them available soon. That people, if they really want to, can buy them and get involved and be part of Team Cannon Chatter. So with that, we will see you on Friday night for our review and preview show. And all that's left to be said is happy St. Paddy's Day and Sláinte.